It used to be chill, it's all up in smoke. I think I'm still fun, parenting's a joke.
Hello, listeners. I'm back with a Thursday snack episode with best-selling author Domenica Ruta. Her new novel is a must-read. It's freshly out, called All the Mothers. And I have a little snack episode with her here where we talk about a few themes in the book. You know what? I've clearly filed away somewhere in my brain those newborn memories. But when I was reading about one of the main characters in this novel, who has a newborn and is struggling to just work their career and get some basic self-care with the newborn, man, did it bring me back to some of the finer minutia. This is not minutia, but this was a big one. I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that. The sound that breast pump makes. If you used one, you know, and I had to do the hospital grade version, but that pump sound is so specific. And you hear it over and over for days, all the time. You don't do it for 5 minutes. It takes some time. And it's a strange sucking sound, as you know, over and over. It's like it puts you in a hypnotic state. And then you start hearing words in that machine's rhythm. So far, I have not met one mother where that machine says something nice to them. Yeah, we all hear criticisms. And I want to change that. And Dominic and I come up with an idea. So you can hear that in this snack episode. It's brilliant, may I say. Only second to my idea of combining a manicurist with a palm reader. Right? That would be great. Why isn't that happening yet? It's got to be somewhere. I don't know where. I haven't seen it advertised. I know. I should start. Go to school, learn how to bake. It's not going to happen. Okay, let's get to the snack. And just so you know, we join this conversation in motion. So to set it up, I'm asking her about her writing process. You know, how does she find the time, really? How does she find that block of 4 hours to write every day in order to finish books, novels? Just make it happen. And, how do you do it without the real help of another person? How are you doing it alone? Because people just say stuff. They say like, oh, I just sit down in the middle of the chaos and write. I don't know anyone who's actually able to do that. Come on. So Domenica breaks it down for me. And I just got to say, we have not met in person yet, but I am dying to make this person my friend. They live close to me. And I love talking to smart, real people. So enjoy this snack with New York Times bestselling author Domenica Ruta.
No, I'll break.
How's that
I'll break
ability?
it down. I'll break it down because
Okay.
there's many people do it in a lot of different ways, and like my creative practice that I have had to develop is one of just like flexibility is the most important thing because like people talk about structure, like you have to wake up at 4 a.m. and I think
Yeah.
bless her heart. What's her
Oh,
name? Glennon Doyle, who's like, I woke up at 4, and I'm like,
yes.
bitch, please. Like, no, like I cannot. 4 a.m. No,
No.
I will like, no, that's a nightmare. And so,
That's my time for anxiety
yeah,
in the bed, by the
exactly.
way.
Thank you. Thank you. It's just like me, my pillow, and my fears. But like but here's the deal, like that might work for somebody. It does not work for me.
Sure.
But fine. If that works for you, great. Do that and ride that train as far as it will take you. I have had to reinvent my creative practice like on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. I joke like every time I think I get into a rhythm with something,
Oh,
someone gets
God.
head lice. Or
I relate to this
gets
so
hand,
hard.
foot, and mouth disease, or someone
Oh,
gets, you know what I mean, or someone gets like sick, or the school, like, or like I completely forgot there was a day off from school, like it's like some whatever a holiday that I didn't even like see coming, and so like there's no like people are like, oh, have a schedule, like write every morning. I'm like, I would love to have a schedule. That seems cute, but my schedule is a Jackson Pollock painting made of poop. Like it's just sort of like, all right, this is what it is today, and like for me, it's not my nature. Like I don't, I might turn some people off, but like I am not just a Virgo, but I have like 4 or 5 things in this house of Virgo. So like I am just like, I love things to be orderly and neat, and I'm super controlling and I'm super uptight. And then I had kids and I was like, oh, this is just, and I had like neurospicy kids. And then I had 2 kids, and then I had this big blended family, and I was like, oh, my way is not going to work as much as I wish it would. And so like I had to just learn like, okay, like look at the day ahead and try to, like where are the pockets that I have? And yes, sometimes that means I have 12 to 4. Does that mean I write from 12 to 4? Absolutely not. But that means I have like an hour of procrastinating, 2.5 hours of
Mm-hmm.
working, half an hour of opening a refrigerator door and just like looking at it and drooling and be like not doing it, just being like, I wonder what's in here. Like,
Me too. I'm
like,
always
and
like, nothing.
interspersed with many like Instagram scrolls, and like, if I can do that a couple of times a week for like a year, like I will have a body of work. Will it be amazing? No, but it's there. It's there. And once
Now you can revise and do
exactly, and once
whatever.
it's there, and then I can revise. And I will say that revising I can do with the kid, like when the kids are running around screaming, like I can sort of it generating new material. I do need quiet. It's really hard to do that.
Yes.
But
At, t-
revising, I can do that with chaos around me. I had published a memoir before I had kids, and
yeah.
and that was great. And then I got my foot in the door, and I got to like be like, okay, I have this is what I'm putting on my taxes. I have a career, and then I had a baby, and while I was pregnant, I was like, all right, I'm going to pound out the ugliest first draft because I don't know what's going to happen, but like once this kid
Wow.
is here, it's going to be really hard to do that. And I pounded out a really ugly first draft, and I had to just really to get like love and accept myself in that draft. Be like, it's okay that it's not good. What matters is that it's there, and really, really let go and detach. And then I had that kid, and I did not look at that book for about 6 months because I didn't look at any book for six
Anything.
months. I like was lucky if I could like listen to a whole podcast. You know what I mean? In that
Sure.
6 months. And then when he was around 9 months, year old, I had enough freelance work and enough in savings, and I was like, okay, I can afford 2 days a week of daycare, and like that's it. If I paid for 3 weeks, and then this is all, and I put this all in my novel. If I paid for 3 days a week of daycare, I am now paying more for the privilege to work than I am earning from working, which is like this crazy like
I know this
parent
math.
math that's like so psycho. Like I was like, I don't even understand the calculus of this. Like somehow like working more, I would be earning less because of the childcare costs. But what I did is like on those 2 days that he was in daycare, I pounded, like I revised this novel until I could get it to a place. And then the 5 days a week, I juggled 80 million different freelance gigs while parenting.
Right.
24/7.
Crazy. I mean, I do remember because both my husband and I, like neither of us are corporate lawyers.
Right. Oh God.
Okay. Like we
Be
neither
so
of us have
smart
corporate
if we
jobs.
were.
I know. I feel like, behind every artist I know,
Is a
not
corporate
only
lawyer.
is there real estate, but there's
Yeah.
like, oh, my spouse is,
Yeah.
the head of Goldman Sachs. I'm like,
100%.
oh, that's how that's going
Totally.
down.
No, it totally.
But
Yeah.
but I don't have that going on. And I remember when our son was very little and I was looking at daycares, before things are paid, like that glorious moment where it's pre-K
Oh,
for
so
all
great. Love that.
in New York.
Yeah.
And you can stop paying. We didn't do it, but we did devise that what at the time I was making more, that if he did nothing,
Right.
like if he quit his
Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
that would be more cost
Which is
effective.
insane, right? Isn't that so? Like, how does that math work out? Where it's like actually cheaper for you to quit your job and for us to not pay for childcare than it is for you to work. And so, yeah, no, exactly. And so, yeah, and I was able to get the second book out, and then with the
That's incredible.
and then
But
with the
still so
yeah.
much work. I can't believe
And then
it.
with the
You're a hero.
thank you. I am so like I am prouder of that book for that reason than I am like anything else I will ever do, because like truly it was so hard. And then with this novel, All the Mothers, I had a partner, who was in the house, who could be like, get them out for an hour. Like, okay, I can work for an hour, and like he could get, stuff like that. Like, during, because I wrote this novel during the pandemic, or I
Right.
drafted it during the pandemic, and like, and yeah. And so he could be like, okay, I'll take them to the park for an hour or two. And I'd be like, okay. And maybe we couldn't do that every day, but like I had to let go of this idea of like every day I have to work. Like whoever said a real writer writes every day is not a woman, doesn't have kids, probably
I know.
has institutional generational wealth. I feel like it was Mark Twain who said it. I'm like, yeah, didn't you have unpaid labor in the form of enslaved people? Like, it's sort of like it's like you can't do it. I cannot be creative every day. One, is exhausting. Two, I just don't have the time. And so like I had to just be like, okay, when I get an hour or two here, I'll use it as best I can. And then I'll let go of the time I don't have.
The
The
expectation
expectation,
of
because
it.
that'll
Yeah.
drive me crazy. And guess what? I don't want to do
I
when I
know.
feel
I do.
crazy. I don't want to write, and so
No. And I've never, I mean, I love writing and I do it all the time just for my own stuff. And I do find anytime that I'm like, no, I'm nailing myself to the desk and we're just 20 minutes on the clock. It's not the stuff
yeah,
that's I'm going to end up using. It was, borderline journaling,
yeah,
which, is fine, but not, I like being thoughtful with the time I have.
yeah,
So there you
yeah.
go. There's a few things that really stuck out to me in reading this novel. It just took me back in time and I was like, wow, that is, I haven't thought about this since my kid was exactly a newborn or right after.
Mhm.
One, of course, which I've heard talked about before, and it should be its own podcast audio thing of itself, which is just when women are pumping for breast milk. I was a weak breastfeeder.
Mm.
I had low supply.
Did
I
everyone at
did.
Park Slope shame you for that?
Oh,
Did they tell
brutal.
you? Did they
Like
give you all the advice you never wanted?
all the advice. I had a postpartum doula who was a great woman. She was a painter and I really liked her because she was not what I expected at all. And she was great. Definitely a baby whisperer. But she at one point was like, I'm going to bring in my friend for free, who's a lactation consultant like person. And that person came in and I do believe she did say to me, I just don't understand as a woman why this is so hard on you. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm not a woman. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah,
Which I was, thinking back, that stung so
yeah,
hard in postpartum. And now that is so insane
yeah,
that I even let,
yeah,
I did kick that person
yeah,
out. And
yeah.
I was like, no. But I did pump.
Right.
I had one working boob
Yeah.
and I did pump
Yeah.
with that hospital grade
God
pump
damn it, that thing. God damn it. Yeah.
and your character talks about how it speaks to everyone. The rhythmic sucking mixed with the sound of the machine whirling is so specific. It's unlike any other machine.
I thought it
imagine.
was talking to me and that I was losing my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
is this the part where I completely become like my identity shatters and I go into a hospital? Because I would thought, because in my case, it was wacko, wacko, you're a wacko, wacko. And I was just like, oh my God, it's taunting me.
Yeah, mine never said anything nice.
No,
I'd
no,
love to
no,
hear
they're-
from
she's
someone
not
that they
nice.
say, keep going,
Yeah.
you're awesome.
No, that pump is like, you're crazy and I'm driving you there. So yeah.
Which made me think maybe there is a device we could attach to those things with some positive affirmations. I don't know.
Ophira, that is $1 million idea. That's the wellness industry. That is the niche. That is our in. And then like millions of dollars later, we got it. I love it.
Yeah, because there is not one person that I've ever talked to who's pumped that was like, oh, it said
It's
something.
like, you're cute, you're cute, you're cute.
Yeah, something like that. Like mine definitely said like, it's never getting better.
Yeah.
It's never getting better.
Right?
It's never. I was like, wow, so crazy. And then there was another slice where Sandy, again, is just trying to find a time. This is what all new parents talk about, just finding that time to shower. And if you have a newborn, that is impossible because a shower involves maybe, 5 to 7 minutes
it's a
by
long time.
yourself, God forbid. And I bought this plastic, God knows what level of non-recycle it is. Basically, it was like a feeding thing that you're supposed to use for travel, where you put the kid in and this is when he could already sit up, and a tray.
Oh, yeah.
And I put that.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
I put that beside the shower and I would litter it with toys and books and fun things and shove them in there.
Yeah.
And he would scream.
Yeah. No. I put my kid in like this bouncy thing and with the curtain open and he would just cry. He would just cry. And I'd be like, hi, I'm right here. This is my body. This is what you did to it. And just all I want to do is soap it up and rinse it off. It's okay. My hair doesn't need to be clean. Can I just do my body? And it was like a nightmare. Yeah.
I don't know if you're a copious note taker from this time in your life, if it was fresh in your brain or how you were able to access this.
It's trauma. It's
Yeah.
that brain I
just
have where it's
like,
like
oh, brilliant.
the shittier the experience, the harder it holds on to it. Like there's so many like beautiful, lovely things that I've probably completely erased, but like the really, really hard stuff, my brain is like, you will never forget that. So yeah. So it's observation and traumatic claws of memory.
Yeah. And although you took liberties with this character, I wonder if this is seeded in your own life because there is a baby shower now this is near the beginning for Sandy with all of her, I'm just going to call them like her soul cycle
Yes,
friends
that's a great way to put it.
from her single past. And and it's not the greatest baby shower, but on top of that, these people don't necessarily follow her through her next journey. And I remember my older sister, I didn't have a baby shower. I had one after the baby was here, whatever you want to call that. And she said at one point to the room, let's see how many of you people keep in touch. Which, and I at time was like, oh my God, you are so dark and mean. That's what I actually thought. And she had a point.
Yeah. No, it's really hard. It's really and I will say it's 10 times harder as a single mom because it's weirdly suspicious. People get really threatened by it. But yeah, no, that absolutely, I lost so many friends at my baby shower that were like, we can't wait to be aunties. And then they just disappeared. And some of them, it was because they were just too busy with their own kids. And I get it.
Sure.
Totally. And they moved away to, you know what I mean? To be closer to grandparents who could help. And I was like, yeah, that I get. And some of them, it was like, we love celebrating this moment. But once it really comes down to it, like after we take that selfie with the new baby, we're never coming over your apartment ever again. We're never hanging out ever again. And I really thought oh, these are the women who are going to help me raise my baby. And the scatter was really, really intense and painful. And I also was really bad at choosing friends. It took me a long time. I'm a real late bloomer in that department. And so I now can say that is not that, if I had a baby as a single mom, if I became a single mom today, my people would come through because I have better people that I have figured out.
Yeah. I think most of my life was built on maybe you like me.
Exactly.
That was it.
Oh, you invited me? I'm definitely coming. And that means I have a friend, instead of do I like you? Is this going to,
right.
Yeah.
Do we connect? Yeah. Now, just wondering with this particular novel, you're writing about these rich characters, but it's called All the Mothers. You're talking about motherhood. When you are trying to get this sold, when you are working with your editor and you're putting it out in the marketplace, I was just wondering, was there any pushback on the fact that it was about motherhood?
Totally.
Because I find this is across all creative disciplines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Totally.
No, that is the case. And I have a bunch of friends who've published books in the past couple of years about motherhood, and anywhere from agents to editors, publishers to anyone who's just sort of it's sort of oh, well, this is no one wants to hear about this. And I'm except that the data has come in that the majority of the people who buy books are women. And the age range of those women are often the age in which women are having children, anyway. And all the book clubs I know about that are all 90% moms in those book clubs. So I'm so tell me again how women don't buy books and they don't want theirs to see diverse stories reflecting their lives or showing them other lives that are, so it's bullshit. But I got a lot of pushback because I refused to choose a lane. It was sort of is this a book about found family or is this a book about motherhood? Is this a book about friendship or is this a book about parenting? Is this a love story? And I'm yeah, it's all of those things. I think that's its strength. It's a book about finding your family. It's a book about shedding your identities and being I thought this is what my friend life would look like. And now it looks like this. It's a book about parenting. It's a book about mothering. It's a book about generations of single moms. It's a book about all these different things. And, and then some spicy romance stuff happens. And it's sort of because I wanted a book that was big and messy. Any book about motherhood should be big and messy. And the books that I have seen get a lot of good marketing pushes and stuff, or books that are it's just about this one singular experience of motherhood. And those are great books, but I'm people want more. They want different.
I totally agree. So so you obviously got it published, and did you find finally someone got it?
Yeah, and it's funny. It's the editor who got it was a divorced single mom, and she was I love it, And she unfortunately, and she was I can't offer you a ton of money for it. You should shop it out. But this offer's on the table, and we shopped it out, and everyone else said no. And my agent was so ashamed. He was I guess we're gonna crawl back to her. And I was I actually would rather have her be the person guiding this book because she gets it,
Because
this book will hopefully find other people who get it, that's the way. We're not going to win over the people who don't get it. That's okay.
Well, next time add a sniper. Okay.
For real, I know, right? Seriously.
And just one other thing I wanted to talk about specific to the book. To entice my listeners to buy it, if they haven't already. I mean, this is like the perfect audience. So you play with point of view in this book that I feel like is so unique because we start in one character's head and then it sort of opens up and then we get the other person's. And it's not like we're starting from, it's not like we're going to retell the story from the
Right.
beginning, but from this person's perspective. There's sort of like a global perspective, I think. We're having these characters exclusively in these moments. I assume that was very hard to write.
Yeah.
And maybe you had threads and pictures up on a board like you're a detective trying to catch a serial killer.
No, I mean, it's so funny. Like you said in the beginning about like, I think, like the mental illness that leads you to a career in stand-up. Like I have the mental illness that leads me to a career as a novelist. I just have this like world building brain where I just sort of hold it all.
It's amazing.
Like I could never do, like, I'm not quick. Like stand-ups are so quick. I'm not quick, but like, and I admire that about stand-ups because it's sort of like, wow, you're improv and wow, you could just like, someone can just throw material at you and you like make something with it so fast. And I'm like, I'd be like, but what I can do is I can hold whole worlds in my head for a long period of time and like and build bridges in those worlds. Yeah, and this is another thing that the people didn't like about the book when I was trying to sell it was that it's like we're like, well, whose story is it? I'm like, it's all of their stories. That's the point. And to tell this story, and I wanted it to reflect like a real family. And in a real family, everyone's voice is going on at all times.
Yes.
And like, no, like the main character of my family shifts on a minute to minute basis. And I wanted that effect in the book, but I also wanted it to be readable. And so, the first part is Sandy's perspective because we haven't met everybody else yet. And then as other people, I even wanted the babies and the children to have POV, for like a moment where like, where like the baby's looking at her mom and having her own little baby thought. Like, I love that. And because I feel like that reflects a real family.
Well, and I think it's, we always, there's this, dumb line. It's probably also Mark Twain. Everything's always like Mark Twain or Virginia Woolf.
It's always some old white person who had way more money and way more privilege than we ever will. But yes.
But it's, along the lines of, the story belongs to whoever's telling it.
Yeah.
Right? And so I love that this kind of breaks that down in a different way where it's like, yes, but the same story being told by these multiple voices that's the truth of the story. Yeah. So anyways,
you so much.
Big kudos to you.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you got that and that you loved it because that was really, it was hard to pull off and a lot of people pushed back on it and I was really kind of adamant on it. And so you just made my day. Thank you.
Yeah, it's craft. It is craft at the highest level. My friends, Domenica's book, All the Mothers, I have it right here, which is why I keep glancing on the side. And I will tell you that I'm a weak reader on top of being a weak breastfeeder, low supply. I'm a slow reader. And I find this book so compelling. I'm careening through it, which also gives me a little self-esteem, but it's also because I relate to so much of it. And the story is wonderful. Follow Domenica at Domenica Ruta on Instagram. You also have a Substack, which I know you said that you update periodically, but with love.
Like, don't expect anything ever, but like maybe like every couple of months, something will be in there. Yeah.
That's the way I view it too. So many things. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was really fun.
Thanks so much for listening. Go buy her book, everybody. Go buy All the Mothers. It's out. It's available. It's a great read, and I have more episodes coming for you, too. Every Tuesday and Thursday, Parenting is a Joke has another episode. Don't miss one of them. Please subscribe now. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like to watch your audio episodes. I know, I laugh when I say that, but who knew? That would be the way podcasting goes. All my guests are up on my YouTube page, slowly being added all the time. So just search in YouTube for Ophira Eisenberg, and then you can hit the playlist. Parenting is a Joke. Or you can just listen to this as an audio product wherever you get your podcasts. I will keep saying this. Come see me live. Lots of shows in New York. I am also traveling. I am going to do my solo show in Iowa City at the James Theater on September 25th. That's Iowa City in Iowa. Correct. Also in New York, November 9th, planning ahead, November 9th, which is both a few months ahead. And tomorrow, as you know, I will be doing a brand new hour, my new comedy special that will be recorded as a TV product and as a audio product. That is going to be November 9th at the world famous Comedy Cellar. 2 shows. There'll be an early and a late. If you're a parent, depending on what your lifestyle's like, one of them is going to fit for you. Tickets can be found, actually, if you just go to my website, ophiraeisenberg.com. You can also find them on the Comedy Cellar website. Follow me everywhere for all the updates at Ophira E. And on TikTok, I'm not Ophira E. I'm Ophira NYC because I like that. I like it like that. Different. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.